Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about an exciting new product from Colourpop. It's part of their new Pretty Fresh line. They recently came out with a tinted moisturizer, a primer, and a mist. And now we have the Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer, which I'm so excited about because I have been testing this out for a while, so I do have my thoughts on it. Here we have the 30 shades of the concealer. The packaging is actually very different from the no filter concealer they had originally come out with, and I will kind of like show you guys and compare. This is a no filter concealer and this is the Pretty Fresh concealer. The packaging is very, very different. It's a little bit shorter and a little bit fatter, and a lot of people I feel like were really concerned that you were getting a less concealer, but in fact this has way more product than the no filter concealer. This one has 5 grams of product and this has 6.5, so it definitely has more. Don't be fooled by the packaging just because it's a little bit shorter. I also wanted to show you guys the lightest and the darkest shade in this range. This one is Fair 05W, and then we have Deep Dark 220C. Two facts about this concealer: it's supposed to be full coverage, creamy, a cushiony concealer that instantly brightens your skin for a fresh, natural finish that lasts all day, infused with hyaluronic acid, coconut water to hydrate the skin, and it has 30 shades like I mentioned. It's gluten-free, dermatologist tested, oil-free, paraben-free, ideal for all skin types. So that sounds like the most perfect concealer. It's like a very hydrating, creamy, but full coverage concealer. I'm definitely all about that. As I review and kind of talk about this concealer, I'm going to be demoing it in 2 different ways. I'm going to kind of wear it as a foundation all over half of my face, just so you guys can see the finish, the coverage, and what it's like. You're not necessarily wearing this as a foundation, but I just kind of want to show you guys. And then on the other side, I'm going to put a little bit of foundation down and wear it as a concealer as I would normally do. I also forgot to mention that these concealers actually come in 3 different tones: C for cool, W for warm, and N for neutral. And they actually are launching a little sponge as well. I've already wet this sponge, so it's kind of grown a little bit in size, but compared to the original one they launched with the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer, it's a little smaller, and they both feel very similar, if not the same. They're very squishy actually. I was very surprised. I have not used these sponges before, so I am going to kind of be using the sponges today as well. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start off with wearing it as a foundation on this side. I have absolutely nothing on my skin right now. I spritzed a little bit of my Pixi Hydrating Milky Mist a little bit ago, but other than that, I have no primer. Let's try Light 45W, and let's also see if this oxidizes. So that's 45W. I'm gonna let that sit for a second and swatch it again next to it and see if it oxidized. It's been a few seconds on my skin. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch right next to it. Yeah, you can definitely tell that it does dry down a little bit darker, like almost a shade. So if you are looking for your shade, maybe go 1 shade lighter just in case. So I think this is what I'm gonna use. I'm just going to apply a few swipes on my cheek. I'm gonna go into my IT Cosmetics little heart brush here, and I'm just going to start blending this onto my skin. So I blended like a light layer. I'm gonna go in a little bit more, and I'm gonna go kind of underneath my eyes as a concealer, around my nose, and I'm going to do my forehead as well. I haven't actually personally applied this as a foundation myself. I was on set for the campaign of this concealer for Colourpop, which was really, really exciting. I'm very excited to see the final photos. They did wear it, I mean, they did put it on me as a foundation, but I didn't personally do it. I had it done. So this is gonna be kind of like a new little test experiment for me as well. So far it is blending really, really nicely. Now I will say the first time I wore this concealer, they told me it was going to be like more hydrating as hyaluronic acid. It is like a full coverage concealer, and it's kind of interesting because the finish of it is kind of like a natural satin. I wouldn't say it's very luminous or dewy as I was expecting it to be. It's not matte, but it's also not super dewy. It's kind of like a natural satin. Like you can see my skin is not like overly glowy, but it's not like dry and crispy looking either. My skin generally right now is a little bit more on the drier side just because of like the weather, and I didn't wear like a primer or anything, but I think it actually looks really, really good. It's covered up pretty much everything except this annoying little guy right there, but it's okay. But for the most part, it looks really, really pretty. It's not kind of clinging anywhere on my skin. It doesn't look dry. It doesn't look cakey or anything like that. Let me go ahead and do a close-up of what it looks like just sitting on my bare skin. I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Fair 15W. I'm gonna use this underneath my eyes just to kind of give it a little bit of a highlight. I'm gonna go into their new little sponge here and blend this out. This is the side with just the concealer. all over my face. It looks really, really pretty. I have not set it yet, so I'm gonna kind of let that sit for a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some foundation on this side of my face. I'm just gonna use my Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. I'm just gonna apply a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay, I applied a thin layer of foundation. I'm gonna go back into Light 45W and I am going to apply it underneath my eyes. I'm also gonna apply it where I would normally apply my concealer. And I'm gonna go into a little sponge here and just blend it out. I really like this shade a lot. Like, this works really, really well with my skin. I know I went in with a lighter concealer on this side of my face because I just really wanted to test it out. But the Light 45 for me acts as a really natural shade. It's like my skin tone, but it does a really nice job concealing what I need it to do without being like overly brightening. So it's definitely something I can wear all over my skin and have it look really pretty, or I can wear underneath my eyes and it still looks very, very nice and like fresh looking. So this is a concealer with the foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little close up to show you guys what my skin looks like. I'm actually quite impressed with how it looks on this side of my face because I have not set it yet, and usually I set my makeup right after I put it on because it usually starts creasing like this, but I don't see any really creasing or settling in any lines, which is very nice, and it sets. It doesn't really need to be set, I don't feel. It doesn't feel super dewy. I'm not getting too much transfer on my hand, so it does kind of dry down, but my skin doesn't look dehydrated and dry, if that makes any sense. It looks really, really pretty. It almost looks like as if I'm not really wearing anything. So this is kind of something cool I can see myself wearing all over my face if I just want to run out the door, like a quick no makeup look. I'm really, really loving this concealer a lot. I remember the no filter concealer, there was a lot of mixed reviews and emotions about it from people. Like, some people either hated it or loved it. I was one of the people that really, really loved it and used it religiously, like every single day. And I think this is kind of like my new favorite. I gotta say, like, I really love the way it looks on the skin. It just looks very natural. It does have very good coverage. It doesn't look cakey, but it kind of has like a satin finish, so don't be scared it's gonna slide off your face just because it has hyaluronic acid and coconut water. You know, you think like, oh, it's gonna be like a dewy, creamy mess. It's just gonna crease and get it all over the place, but it's not. It's very, very nice. Like, I feel like if I didn't set it, I would just be fine. So with all that said, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of my complexion. I'm just gonna set it, add some bronzer, blush, highlight, and I'll be right back to kind of give you guys like my final thoughts, even though I'm pretty sure you guys know at this point what they are, but BRB. I'm back with the rest of my complexion done. I'm gonna be filming something for my eyes after this. That's why I don't have eye makeup on. But I really like the way my skin looks. Under my eyes, of course, I have natural lines, but when I kind of stretch like that, there's like no creasing. So that's a really good sign. The powder didn't do anything weird with it. It looks really nice. I don't have any creasing. It's not settling anywhere. It's not cakey. It's not super dry looking. It looks very smooth. Both sides of my face, like, this is all concealer and this is like foundation. It looks almost very similar. You can't tell that I have two different things on both sides of my face. It just looks really, really pretty. The color, I really like the shade of this concealer. Like I said, the tone is the closest tone I've seen to my skin from like a foundation, but it's like a concealer. Overall, my skin just looks really nice, very fresh and healthy. My under eyes are nice and bright. They look very awake. It just stunning on the skin. Like, I'm a big fan of this. I really have been enjoying this for the past few weeks, so it's a thumbs up from me. I can see this working really well with the Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer from Colourpop. If you haven't seen my video on that, I will put in the little eye on one of these sides and you guys can click that to watch. But I really like that tinted moisturizer. It gave me just enough coverage for like an everyday situation, and I feel like in conjunction with this concealer, it's gonna be just beautiful because this concealer is going to give you like that full coverage, but the tinted moisturizer is going to give you like a gorgeous, just natural look on the rest of your face. So I'm really happy. I really like this Pretty Fresh line from Colourpop. Like, I'm a fan. The primer is amazing. I think that's all the information. Oh, I didn't tell you guys the price. The concealer I believe is going to be $9 each, which is a really good price. And the sponge, I'm not quite sure at this moment how much the sponge is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be very affordable, but once I get the correct information, I'll put everything in the description bar down below, so definitely check that out. With that said, I feel like that's all the info I can give you guys and my thoughts. I really like this concealer a lot. Again, it's not my first time using it. I have been wearing and testing it out for a few weeks now, and I really like it a lot. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Definitely don't forget to follow me on Twitter, mesijesibeauty, Instagram, MAKEUPBYJESI, and also subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and hit that little bell so you are notified every time I post a new video. With all that said, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!